Howdy do, friends, and welcome to the Mad Painter Show. I hear my friends outside, I'm sorry. We are at a place of the look what I can do, and we're constantly looking at how other people's grass is greener. Well, this is what today's discussion is about. This is funny with these crows. This is what today's discussion is about. How we gonna get our grass green, baby. So, I have to look at my notes because we have notes, and I forgive the distraction. When as far as social media goes, we're constantly awing over what somebody else's grass is looking like. And in the past, I've always had this saying that the only reason why the other person's grass is green is because they're actually tending to their yard. So this is what this is about. Our own grass and how we go about getting our own grass greener. So I'm gonna look down at my notes. So when it comes to getting our own grass green, this is part of the minding our business. And what is our business in this? Our yard is our business, our own yard. And before I started this, I was like, I sure don't have a song. I wonder if I'm gonna have a song for this. And guess what just came to me? My milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and their life is better than yours. So we are working on our own yard because that is where the milkshake is, and that's what's gonna bring all the boys to the yard. What the? So anyway, so in this, we also have additives. We have bushes, we have flowers, we have however it is we want to do this trimming and what we want it to look like. So the question is here, how do you want your lawn to look? So we're looking at all these other people's grass, so to speak, and seeing how green that is. Has it ever occurred to you, my people, do you even want grass in your yard? Because as I was writing this, I got to thinking like, now we also have Zen gardens, because in those Zen gardens, there isn't any grass like that. So do you want a Zen garden? Do you want an Oriental garden? Do you want, like, what does your yard look like? Okay, so let me switch notes, whatever it is. So as we begin to get involved with our own yard, now we get to a point, instead of looking at others like, oh, look at their grass and how beautiful it is. I wish my grass looked like that. We get to a whole nother perspective of that. So before I get to getting into how we're changing our perspective and looking at other people's grass, we get into, have you ever heard yourself saying, oh, I wish I could do this. I wish I had that. What I've learned in the one, love walk, and in two, in this journey of being, doing, and having, and being our best self, I've discovered that language like that is not beneficial or purposeful into what it is that we're doing. Because a lot of the times, the stuff that we wish for like that, yeah, it just takes for us to put a little bit of effort and time into it, and we will be able to have what it is that we wish for. So when we see ourselves or hear ourselves wishing for stuff like that, like, I wish my grass looked like that, when you actually get to tending to your own yard, that changes, because in whatever it is that you're desiring for this outcome to be, you're working toward it. So instead of putting that in just wishful thinking, now you're actually applying what it is that you are desiring to have. Okay, so we get back to how we're looking at other people's yard. Instead of looking at this from wishful thinking or from an envious eyes, now we're looking at it as an inspiration. We're a lot of times when we come to we have this desire to do something, like we want to help people, we want to do this, we want to do that, but we really don't know how to go about doing it. And I know this is all still connected with the yard. So, and now just stick with the yard. We want to have this for our yard, we want to have that for our yard. And the main question is, how do we go about even having green grass, or if we want grass? So in having this passion or desire to do something, sometimes we don't always have a clear vision on how to go about seeing these things clearly. Coming from an artist perspective, as I've mentioned in past videos, I'm the type of person that I use references to help me draw. Like the images behind me, the two right here, they're paintings of me in different times of my life. And so I had to use a reference. Well, I had two references as far as a mirror, because I look at myself every day. And as I'm painting my paintings, it's like, that's not looking like me. But I also had a picture reference to give me a visual guideline of what it is that I look like in that picture, so that I can replicate that image. And so in looking in a mirror, as I'm looking in a mirror and painting, my image is constantly moving, and sometimes it's hard to like get that still in the midst of trying to put that on canvas, put that down on canvas. And so where we're getting to is, now we're looking at other people's lawns. We are now looking at it from an eye of inspiration, motivation. Like, okay, I see they have that set up like this. It's not like we're trying to mirror everything that they're doing, but we're looking at this as, I like how that's going. I like how that looks, and apply. Use what you're seeing in connection with your imagination and start building on that vision. And so here it is, you're having ideas and you're starting to see different things. It's like, okay, and you're allowing the vision to become clearer. So now we're at a point where we've replaced our thinking and changing how we're going about looking at things. And now in taking it in as, you know how they do vision boards, and how they'll have the vision boards, and the vision board is to give you're putting up on the vision. I'm always having and my imagination is working in the midst of me talking, because I'm visualizing it as I'm speaking to you. So on these vision boards, you have visual representations of what it is that you desire for your future, or what you want those things to look like. A lot of times it's something material, but here it is, we're going to the lawn. It is something material. So we want to have these visuals of what it is that we want it to look like. And so in this, we're gaining inspiration from other people, and knowing and having an idea of what we're capable of doing. It's like, hey, they were able to get this set up. We can get this too set up. And so now you're taking your focus off of, because the wishful thinking is now bringing you to, that point is bringing you to limitations in your thinking, because you wish and you woulda, coulda, and shoulda. But then when you're actually using the things that you're taking in as inspiration, it allows you to now, you ever see, it was like I think it was called Mousetrap, and it was a game that you set up and you like rig up all these different things, and it's like a mini obstacle course that's set up where the mouse triggers something, and as the mouse goes, it basically triggers a trap. So this is kind of, or like, it's like a domino effect thing. That's basically where I was going with this. So when you are looking for things of inspiration, you're creating a domino effect, because now you're seeking things out, you're researching, you're creating a domino effect that's going to encourage you to actually work on the things that you're seeking out. Because in using these things as an inspirational, motivational type of pusher, instead of they think they all that because they got green grass, because that's taking you on a negative and bringing more of the lack into your life, as opposed to what it is that you actually desire. And so in looking at what it takes to actually make the grass green, how we go about intending to the lawn, and good lawn healthcare, we're now focusing the energy on, oh, this is what I need to be doing. This is what I need to be working on. And so another part of this is that now it's going to shift this A lot of times when we're seeking out stuff and researching stuff and looking at what it takes to achieve the goal, it can sometimes be overwhelming. I suggest to you to even try it with whatever it is that you're trying today. Instead of course, we have the big picture on our vision board of what it is that we're trying to achieve and what we want our lawn, our grass, our Zen garden, or whatever this is to look like. And so now that we have this visual, now we just start doing the step by steps and just focus on, okay, today we're going to do this. And then the next day, when the next day get here, that's what we focus on. We focus on those steps, that step, because all the steps are going to be different. Each step is not going to be the same. And if we think in each step is going to be the same, we're able to just run up those steps just like that, because it's like we already know how the steps are. Some steps are so far ahead, you're not sure which direction it's going, where it is. So here is the other part in and where we include God in. Because what I've paid attention to, no matter how much we think we know of something or we research something, it's going to be a lot that's going to be unknown once we actually step out. And we got to have the balls and ovaries to step out there, people. Because that's the only way we're going to have the boys and girls brought to the yard, is because we're going to have the land of milk and honey in our yard. Because the only way we're going to get shakes is because if we got that milk and it's an abundance of it in the yard. Milkshake brings all the boys to the yard and they're like, so in including God in on this, because in stepping out, and this is the part in where we're stepping out on faith, because we feel like we have to get all of the information under our belt before we go about getting our yard together. And it's like, it's not going to happen, because you'll be waiting forever and getting all this information under your belt, because there is so much information about whatever it is that you'll be on and on and on and on and on and on collecting information. And so in the process of you collecting information, you also got to step out there. So here it is, we have our yard, and we're also gaining information on how to care for our yard. Do we have paper and garbage out in our yard? So part of this preparation is cleaning up the yard, getting the yard prepared for what it is that we have to do. We may not have the grass seeds at the moment, but we sure have our hands in some bags or whatever it is that we need to get this yard together in the midst of us getting our tools together and getting other things to help our grass to be greener or whatever it is that we're doing with our yard. So I know you all have heard the saying of how one waters the other, how one plants the seed, because this is where we're going off and preparing this yard. So here we are, we're planting this seed, and then the water comes. We may water it, somebody else may water. But do you know how much happens in that yard while we are sleeping that we have absolutely nothing to do with? And this is where God brings the increase. So in the midst of us researching and getting our things prepared for our yard, we're also including God in on, like, how do we go about doing this? Like, ask him questions. You're seeking out. Here, and we have all these blank spots. Ask him about the blank spots, because what this is that we want to have clarity in what it is that we're doing. Look at Noah. Here we have Noah. It's somewhere in the Old Testament. I have my notes, but this is nowhere in my notes. So look it up, Google it. It's easy. Just Google where's Noah in the Bible. But here we have Noah, and even though this isn't a yard, it's connected, baby. So here it is that he has these plans, because it's all connected with God has these plans for us. So he has these plans, and he's building this ark, and it's like day by day, and I think it was a long time this brother was building this ark. And then considering how long he was building, and then he hadn't seen rain, it's like, I mean, they seen like water, but the abundance of rain that was getting ready to come, that he was being prepared for, and the animals and his family and others, it was a situation that was where he had an idea, he had some instructions, but he still didn't have a clear vision as to what was crack-a-lacking with this situation, with this boat and this abundance of water that was getting ready to come. And so We'll have ideas for things, but it works much better if we actually including God in on our plans, because in the unseen, he operates in the unseen. And that's the part that we need clarity in, because it's a whole bunch of stuff that we can't see in these steps, and whether we building a boat or doing our yard. So let me get back to my notes. So in the midst of, here it is, and because that kind of blended in with what I was doing. In the midst of what we're doing in building our yard, building our boat, and constructing our yard, and stick to the yards, because that's what the milkshakes is going to be at, and that's where the boys is coming to. So in the process of us creating our yard that it is that we want to have, where we're taking our focus is how we're going to go about doing things. Are we focusing on other people's things because we're wishing on this thing, or are we looking at these things in eyes of inspiration and motivation, and how to go about how you may want your thing to look? And so I'm just going to look back down in my note and make sure that I'm not skipping anything. So every day, this is our mission, and what it is that we want for our yard, how we're going about making our grass greener, and in preparation for that. And looking at, there was some people that stayed down the street from me when I was growing up. They always had beautiful grass. And and reflecting on our topic, a lot of times when we're looking at other people's grass, nobody is out there, and we just see beautiful lawn, all this landscapistry, is that a word? But all this landscape that's happening, and because there is an artistry in that, and in recognizing how beautiful that is, and you having the opportunity to look at this, you actually don't see the work that's put into that. You just see the result of the work. So if you start coming out at different times of the day and look at that yard, like early in the morning, because I paid attention, there are certain times when gardeners do their work due to sun and, climate, whatever is happening with the environment, because you're not trying to pass out while you're cutting the grass. So, and I encourage you to, especially when you're looking at other people's grass and how beautiful it is, also look at the work that they put into it, because that may not always be shown in the forefront. But if you have an opportunity to actually observe a person or a lawn deeper than the surface, you'll have an opportunity to see the real work that was put into making that grass greener. So let's make our grass greener and actually put the work into becoming our best self. I love you guys, and God loves you even more. And that's what this thing is about, finding out what this love is about, because that love, he has a plan for us. And baby, when I love you and I have a plan for you, I'm always looking out for the best for you, especially when I have a higher view than you. Because if I'm looking at toughen up, it's like, oh, I can see past that problem, because it's, so he has a plan for us, and recognizing that he has a plan for us, he got it, baby. Because our milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, and their life is better than yours. So I love you guys. God loves you more. Make it great, peeps. If this helps you, like, share, subscribe. You know what to do. God love you. I'll talk to you later. Bye.